I began long before your hasty kind walked the riverbanks of Istar, before spires gleamed with prideful magic, before the sun burned quite so hot or the moon pulled quite so hard at the tides. I was a sapling then, yes, a small, shy thing newly awakened in the twilight mists of the Varelian greenwood, a forest old even in those days, nestled along the southern coast of the Istarian peninsula, where sea winds brushed through the canopy like curious children with salt on their hands. Ah, Varelian. I say the name again so it is not forgotten. It must not be forgotten. The forest hummed with deep songs, not the noisy kind of songs that sparrows and men make, but the long, slow murmurs of root to root and leaf to bark, true song. In those days the sky seldom frowned. The sun trickled through the branches more than it blazed, and the rains, the rains were gentle and regular, not like the tantrums they throw now. The winds came from the sea in the afternoons, cool and thoughtful. The mornings, the mornings were heavy with dew. I remember how the moss would stretch and yawn as the light crept across it, like old sleepy cats on stone. Now I did not walk in those days, no. Walking comes much later. Saplings do not walk. That would be absurd. I listened, I learned, I grew, slow, deliberate, as is the proper way. I remember my first fear, a snail, yes, a terrible thing, slimy and armored. It perched on my bark for 3 whole days. I was not sure if I should befriend it or scream. Of course I could not scream then, no mouth yet, you see, and the weevils, dreadful nibblers, always scurrying about. I spent my early decades in constant negotiation with beetles and grubs. Some were reasonable, most were gluttonous. There was a beetle named Clip who insisted on chewing a notch in my leftmost branch. He said it gave him a view of the morning sun. I eventually grew the branch sideways, just to keep him quiet. But I am forgetting the root sage. My mother, or something like a mother. She was a red-bark elder, wide as 10 kender abreast and older than the hills that held her. She spoke in creaks, in groans, in root hums that took a day to reach me, but I understood her. She taught me of patience, of seasonal sorrow, and that squirrels are not to be trusted, a lesson I've never unlearned. You must understand, I did not know of men then, or elves, or iron, or the wheel, that strange little circle you seem so fond of. I knew only of the sun, and the rain, and the names of the mosses. Did you know there are over 47 types of moss in a single clearing, each with its own mood and manners? There's Sharpcap, who's prickly and snide, and Morn Blanket, who only grows on stones that have felt grief. And then there was the weather. You'll find it most interesting, I suspect, that for the first 12 years it rained every 7th day. Precisely, we counted. The frogs held a council about it once. They decided it was divine. I rather thought it was the shape of the hills, but no one asked me. I worried, terribly, about shadows. Not the dark kind. No, those are comforting. I mean the wrong kind. The sort that flicker when there is no wind. The kind that bend the light around themselves. Even then I knew something was unnatural in some places in the forest, especially beneath the hollow knoll where the ferns wouldn't grow and the birds never sang. I also worried about my canopy. Would it ever be broad? Would I be chosen by owls to nest in, or passed over like my cousin Turnwill, who grew crooked and bitter? These are serious matters for a young tree, and once I worried for an entire decade about a single acorn that had lodged between two of my roots. I wasn't sure if I was raising a sibling or holding them hostage. Perhaps it was both. In the end, a fox ate it, and the question was moot. So passed the first season of my tale, in the quiet slowness of the greenwood, an hour as counted by me. I grew in the peace of shaded glens and the whisper of root song, beneath skies that remembered no war and soil that bore no ash. Those early days shaped me, not with speed or fire or blade, but with rain, with stillness, and with the weight of time pressing gently downward, before men raised towers of pride, before magic grew loud and careless, before those most divine and holy became a perverted reflection of what once was, before the dark times. I was only a sapling then, but I listened, remembered, endured. Thus, with leaves reaching out and branches patient, I began.